welcome back to Movies I Watched This Week. It's been so long. It's been so long, and truth be told, this is not movies I watched this week. It's not, because I haven't. The last movie I watched was over a month ago. I have not watched a movie in a month. Am I going through withdrawals? A little bit, but it's my own fault because I started Queer as Folk. I'm on season 3, and when I start a new show like that, it consumes me, and there's no time in the day for movies. Not only am I too busy to sit down for an hour and 30 minutes, if I do have time, I want to watch Queer as Folk. So today we are back with ranking my best friend's top 4. My best friend's top 4, and today we are ranking Catherine Lillamone's top 4. Okay, let me tell you a little bit about my best friend Kate. Let me tell you the meet cute of how we met. I'll tell you about her favorite movies. I'll tell you a little bit about her. She has her own blog. She has her own page. You can go follow and check out because she's so fucking funny. You think I'm funny and entertaining? You must. Why else would you be here? Unless you're just stalking me, which if so, just like text me. The fuck. If you think I'm funny, you have to meet Kate. I actually wish I could just pull her out of my pocket right now and be like, here she is. But she's in Minnesota, which is so far away from me in New York. So, grab a drink, get comfortable, and let's get on with the video. Also, before we get into any of that, I have been vlogging, which is so fun because I used to do that in high school. And there's nothing more fun to me than vlogging mundane activities or like my daily life, forgetting what happens, and then on the cutting room floor, remembering and finding things out. Like my last vlog when I went to a bar for the Bills game, I did get intoxicated and didn't remember half the stuff that happened. So watching it back was really fun. Anyway, that being said, you should watch my other YouTube videos. You should follow me on TikTok. You should subscribe to Dry Gin Martini if you feel like it, or don't. Either way, I'm still gonna be here, so can't get rid of me that easy. Grab a drink, get comfortable. So I met Kate in January of 2023 when we were both studying abroad in Canterbury, England. I wish I had a buzzer and I could be like, there she goes again talking about it, but like, what do you want from me? Sorry. I met Kate and I vividly remember. So I get there. I went and flew to London with my cousin Jessica and my sister Peyton. They kind of got me settled in, and then they left and I was on my own to navigate England. And I had met my friend Emily from UB. We became friends there. We went to the same university. Through her, I met a group of girls that she met flying there and like getting on the bus, who are now my really lovely, great friends. And then I went on a tour by myself of the university in like the small tour group, and I met this girl, Noelle. Hey, Noelle! And through Noelle, I told her, I was like, all these girls, all this hodgepodge of random American girls are going out tonight. You should come. Bring anyone you want. Like, bring a friend you met, bring a stranger. I don't care. Bring somebody that's in your flat. Like, just bring a friend. Like, let's all intermingle and get to know each other because we're going to be here for 6 months. And thank you, Noelle. She brought me Kate. So we all go out our first night together. We don't really know what going out is like in England. Very different. Drinking like a fish. I can't do that anymore. But back then I sure did. So we went out, all these girls. We ended up meeting rugby players or something and like staying out with them for a while. I don't know. I remember towards the end of the evening when we were going to disperse that I was fiending for nicotine. At the time I had a raging vape addiction, and vapes in England are like 2% nicotine. So I was like, how stupid. Why would anyone vape? And they were like $7. I was like, this just seems wasteful. Like, let's get a pack of cigarettes. And I didn't want to buy a pack of cigarettes because to me, that's just like, don't do that. Same thing, I won't buy a vape, but I'll hit somebody else's. I'm not going to buy a pack of cigarettes. I'm going to go bum one off a hot British man. And so I don't remember this because I was drunk. I'm like, truth be told, I don't really remember. I just remember saying like, I need a cigarette now. Next thing I know, Kate has one for me. And I was like, we're going to be best friends. We're gonna be best friends. And then after that, it was kind of just like this really slow but also really fast course of events into us somehow becoming besties. Because I remember we didn't hang out as much at first, and then one day we were inseparable. We ended up backpacking across all of Europe together. I've since gone and seen her in Chicago. My sister flew her out here to surprise me 2 Christmases ago, and then she was here for the 4th of July. I've yet to go out to Minnesota and visit her. Kate, if you're watching this, I'm so sorry about that. You know, I'm trying, girl. I'm trying. I'm gonna come out there. I wish I was there for the fair. Anyway, Kate is somebody, like, let me just blow smoke up her ass for a second. Kate is one of the people where I could call her and tell her anything in the world, and she's going to know exactly how I'm feeling, how to respond, and like how to make me feel better. She is so funny. She's so incredibly independent and intelligent, and I admire her so much. And she's also just so unapologetically herself, which I admire. And I think that's why I liked her, like wanted to be her friend so bad when we were studying abroad, because that was my first time away from home, and I was like, I can finally be myself without feeling like, oh, this person knows me from high school, or this person knows me from college, or this and that and the other. I was just like, she's just herself. She's so funny. And she also, like, she speaks her mind, and I admire women like that who have no problem saying how they feel, because you can, and she does that. And I love her with everything in me. I'm not kidding. I wish she was in my pocket right now and I could pull her out and give it to you. Like, she's introduced me to so many new things. Like, I would not be a fan of the Ride podcast if it wasn't for my girl, Kate. I would not be a fan of reality TV show to the extent that I am if it wasn't for Kate. All of those things being said, the beautiful, talented, smart, hilarious Kate has her own blog page on Instagram and Substack called Overconsumptionism. Please go check it out. Please follow her. She is literally so funny, and she says things that other people are afraid to say, and it's just like, when it comes out of her mouth, it's hilarious. She's so wonderful. I just miss her every single day. I miss her every single day because when we were together, when we were backpacking, like exploring the world together, I never got sick of her. I feel like we were the cosmos aligned and we were meant to meet. That's how I feel about all of my friends from study abroad. Like, we were all from different places and just happened to study at this place at the same time and go out on this night, and we all became friends. Like, I always think about what life would have been like if I hadn't met Noelle to meet Kate, and I think it would be very dull. I love her so fucking much. That being said, let's get into her top 4 favorite movies. Okay, I hope she's watching. Did I make you cry? Was that good? Okay, let's get into the movies. Now, like I said before, Kate puts me onto a lot of stuff. The first movie I think Kate ever recommended to me was her #1 favorite on Letterboxd, which is The Florida Project, okay? I remember seeing, like, pictures and snippets and stills from the movie. I obviously knew Willem Dafoe was in it, and that it not starred children, but it followed children in this hotel, which we'll get into the plot and all of that jazz. And she told me to watch it, and I did. Sobbed hysterically. I absolutely love this movie. So, 2017, directed by Sean Baker. By the way, we have Sean Baker twice on this list, okay? Just letting you know. The Florida Project, 2017, directed by Sean Baker. Find your kingdom. The story of a precious 6-year-old and her ragtag group of friends whose summer break is filled with childhood wonder, possibility, and a sense of adventure, while the adults around them struggle with hard times. This film does a beautiful job depicting childlike wonder, curiosity, and playfulness because it follows these 6-year-olds around. They have no idea what's going on in their home lives. They just know that they live in a hotel close to Disney World and they get to play all the time. And watching it from their perspective is just so genius, because I think a lot of the time when we deal with stories that face wealth inequality, poverty, people growing up in hard times and circumstances trying to get out of that for the sake of their children, we take it from the parents' perspective. And we know what it's like for them to be struggling every single day to make ends meet and support their family. We never get the story from a child's perspective where it's like, you literally have no idea what's going on. It's just the little murmurs that happen in the background. And Sean Baker beautifully depicts that in this film, because as I was watching it, I kept asking myself, like, wait, is this happening? Is this what's going on? Is this what's happening in the background? Because you're experiencing it from the kid's perspective. When it comes to Mooney's mom, and she's essentially engaging in sex work in their hotel while her daughter is home to make money to afford the rent so they can stay there. At first, I couldn't believe that was happening. I was like, there's no way that this is going on. There's a child in the other room. but you're in the bathroom with the child. So yeah, you're just kind of thinking like, oh, I'm taking a bath now. Like, what's happening in the other room? It took me a while, and maybe it's my own naivete, but it just took me a while to grasp that that was what actually was going on. And then when you understand what's happening, you just feel so much more for the kids, but also for the adults in the situation, because it just breaks my heart that it's like she's trying to make ends meet to support her children, but in the end ends up losing custody of her children because of the work she's doing to try and support them. Does that make sense? And I really enjoyed the friendship between Jancy and Ashley, the two moms. I really enjoyed their dynamic, and it did break my heart when they stopped being friends and they were like, I no longer want your children around my children, but I understood where they were coming from. And Willem Dafoe's performance in this, like all of his performance, is fucking magnificent. But what truly stands out to me will always be the final sequence of the film when, I believe it's CPS. I apologize if I'm incorrect about this information. I would Google it, but my computer will blow up if I have more than one tab open. I'm so sorry. And I'm not prepared. The final sequence when the authorities come to take Mooney away from her mom and she's saying goodbye to her friend. I always interpreted that, and then they run off to Disney World and they go inside. There's a few ways I interpreted it. At first I was like, they literally ran away and went to Disney World because that was their last chance at like seeing each other having fun, and she was just scared. A child would be scared. You're taking me away from everything I know, the place that I live, my mom, my friends. Kids don't understand that you're taking them away for a better life, to be put in foster care where you could potentially experience worse conditions than you do now at home. So for her, it's just a sense of like, what are you doing? You're taking me away from my family. Where from the authorities' perspective, they're like, you were in an unsafe scenario, we're trying to help you. And I found that using the iPhone, because they were running through Disney World and they couldn't use a professional camera, I just thought the energy and the style that they shot that was representative of so many different things. Not only like escapism for children and like Disney World and movies and playing pretend and putting on dresses and playing with dolls, and it's just your imagination allowing you to explore curiosity and things like that. But also I interpreted it as she was being taken away, and so maybe this was like a fantasy for her of what could have been and all those things. To be honest with you, I just find that the final sequence of this film evokes a lot of different things, and maybe it could represent some kind of childlike healing for yourself as a viewer watching it if you have a different kind of interpretation. I absolutely love The Florida Project. Out of her list, like, her list is gonna be tough because I love every single one of these movies. Out of the four of these though right now, like, Florida Project is probably, oh, this is so hard, like 2 or 3. Florida Project's probably 2 or 3. I haven't even gotten into the meat and potatoes of the other movies though, so let's see how that goes. Because as a movie, like, The Florida Project to me is perfect and I love it. But when it's in the running with these 3 other films too, in particular, that I'm gonna beat to death when I talk about, I'm having a hard time placing her. Okay, the next movie on Queen Kate's list is another movie that she showed me, and I couldn't be more grateful. This is the one where I'm like, God, I love this movie so much. 2023 Theater Camp, directed by Nick Lieberman and Molly Gordon. Now, if you've never seen Theater Camp, usually people say, like, you're missing out. No, genuinely, you are missing out on probably one of the best movies of the 21st century. I'm not even kidding, and I'll tell you why. It's genuinely funny, and after the indomitable and beloved founder of a scrappy theater camp in upstate New York falls into a coma, the eccentric staff must band together with her clueless crypto bro son to keep the thespian paradise afloat. So this film follows exactly that. It tells the story of a summer theater camp run by a bunch of theater kids in Iowa Debris who just applied for a job and ended up being there and lied on her resume and ended up teaching a stunt coordinating class. So there's a handful of reasons I love this movie. 1, I did summer theater, so there were a lot of similarities. Summer theater is political. okay? There are stage moms in the same way that there are dance moms. There are stage dads, believe it or not. There are stage dads there on a Sunday building the set to maybe get their kid a better role in the musical, okay? Not only are there kids there as a form of like daycare essentially, where it's like childcare, you know, you send your kid, you drop them off at 9 a.m. and you pick them up at 4 from musical rehearsal. Like, it's also a place where you learn so much. Like, summer theater, and I'm not being dramatic here when I say summer theater, when I began in 3rd grade and I stopped the summer theater program in about 8th grade because then I was able to do High School Musicals and I had summer sports and things like that. But I remember seeing people kiss for the first time, seeing people cheat on their boyfriends for the first time. Like, the drama was insane between specialty dancers and ensemble members. Like, callbacks were crazy. I remember there were people I didn't like because they danced at a different dance studio than me. Like, it was crazy. So to watch this movie of grown theater kids now teaching the youth about theater in such a funny, theatrical way, it just hit all the notes for me. It hit all the notes for me. The cast is fucking incredible. I mean, come on. Ben Platt, Molly Gordon, Noah Galvin, Jimmy Tatro, Caroline Aaron, Iowa Debris. Owen Thiel is in it! Owen Thiel is in it! And I've always been an Owen Thiel stan. I've always been an Owen Thiel stan since this movie. Okay, so a lot of you are jumping on the bandwagon. I've been driving the wagon, okay? I've been driving it. Just want to put that out there. This movie is fantastic. It's also incredibly well written, and the story arc is fabulous because it kind of follows Molly Gordon and Ben Platt as these two best friends, the glue that hold the theater camp together, aside from Joan? Is her name Joan? Who died, or she doesn't die, she's in the coma. Anyway, Molly Gordon and Ben Platt are these two best friends who just have such an admiration for theater and musicals and arts and culture, and they just want to share that with the kids. That's really it. They just do it in a very, intense way. However, musical theater is very intense. I remember being yelled at on stage for, not smiling enough. It's like run like a military because it is for the purpose of the show. Everything you do in rehearsals, the blood, sweat, the tears, the drama, all of that stuff, is because you're going to put on a show for the adults in your life who are paying for a ticket to sit there and see what you just spent the entire summer doing. So there is like something on the line, and that is, I don't know, your own pride and dignity in front of your parents. At least it was for me. I was like, I need to prove that I am talented in some capacity, even though I've been dancing for X many years and all I care about is singing and dancing and performing. Like, there's also a piece of me throughout my time in musical theater where I was embarrassed to tell people that I did musical theater because I thought they'd think I was weird. And looking back, I wish I was the loudest and proudest theater kid alive. I think maybe then I would have gotten Elle Woods instead of Elle Woods' mother in Legally Blonde, but that's a story for another time. Not to mention, like, the kids in this movie are genuinely talented. They have great comedic timing. They're fantastic singers. But a lot of the time, excluding the Florida Project, kids in movies bother me. They bother me because it's like, why are you there? Like, you're not adding anything to the story. Obviously, these kids are adding to the story. And not to mention, at the end, we finally get to the part where they put on the musical and they sing, like, the first song. And it's great. And it's something that gets stuck in my head all the time. Even my mom sings it because I showed my mom. And that would be, camp isn't home, but is it kind of, it is, I think it kind of is. And then there's another, what is it? Girl with an open snap, oh boy who's looking down. It's just so funny. And what I also love between the Molly Gordon Ben Platt character dynamic is that these are two people who want a career in the arts. They want to write plays, they want to write musicals, but there's something about it, and that I can also agree with as somebody who wants to be a writer, where there is that piece of you that's just like, I'll do it eventually. And then it never gets done. Like, they want to put on a gender-bent Romeo and Juliet, and it's like, well, why haven't you written it? Molly Gordon's character needs to write the final song for the musical, and she keeps putting it off and putting it off and putting it off. And I think that was such a realistic piece to put in the movie about, like, people who are artistic wanting to make something and just putting yourself down and stopping yourself before you get the chance. And then they have a beautiful, like, reunion at the end of the film, and I just love it. And theater camp for me, like, out of this list, like, theater camp is between 1 and 2. That 2 spot, I don't know where I should fucking put Little Women. Where do you put Little Women? The next film on Kate's list is Little Women 2019, directed by Greta Gerwig. Like, you've seen this, haven't you? You've seen this movie, right? Please look me in the eyes and tell me that you have seen Little Women, directed by Greta Gerwig. Yes or no? When I saw Little Women in the movie theater for the first time with my mom, we were sat in the back row. And she always has tissues in her purse. Now, it's not tissues in, like, a little to-go tissue plastic sack. It's tissues crumpled up and shoved in a pocket in her purse. I knew I was going to cry because every time I go to the movies for something that I've been waiting, like, at least a year to come out, I sob. And let me explain that to you for 1 second here, if I may. Like, when I went to go see Batman, when I went to go see Little Women, when I went to go see, I don't know, the One Direction movie, The Greatest Showman. Like, I sit my ass in the chair, I have my drink, the movie starts, I get overwhelmed, I start to cry. Because, and I don't care how stupid or cheesy or crazy this sounds, I fucking love movies so much. There is nothing else in this world that I would rather spend my life doing than watching movies, making movies, being in movies, being a part of conversations about movies and culture and storytelling, and just depicting other people's lives through cinema and making people feel connected to one another through movies. Okay? So when Little Women came out and I knew it was directed by Greta Gerwig, every single person in that cast is somebody that I, like, have grown up watching, except Timothée Chalamet. But even though, like, in high school I became obsessed with him, and ever since I've been with him like this, I guess, kind of, because in 2019 I was a senior in high school. I don't know. It was like an overwhelming feeling of, I love this so much, like, I wish I was in this movie. And so the first scene, we have Florence Pugh and Meryl Streep on their little buggy with the horse, and then you see Timothée Chalamet for the first time. I started sobbing as if I had just found out that I lost a loved one. I was hyperventilating, sobbing, and my mom was like, what is wrong with you? Like, we're in the movie theater, stop. And I was like, I'm trying to control myself, but I literally can't. Like, I'm so overjoyed about being in this theater right now, getting to watch this movie on a big screen. And then I watched the movie, and it's one of the greatest movies I've ever seen in my life. Costume design, the writing, the storytelling, oh my fucking god, the cut between past and present, the different lighting design for past and present, the story arc between Joe and Laurie, the sibling dynamic, the playfulness of girls growing up and being curious. Like, everything about this movie to me is perfect. Okay, maybe it's number one. And every year around the fall, I have to watch it because it just creates something within me. Like, it's as if Entangled, when she sings and her hair starts to glow, that starts to happen in my heart. That's how much I love this movie. That's how much I love movies. But this movie is like a staple for me because this was kind of the time where I realized, like, I was in high school and I'd just seen Lady Bird and Call Me By Your Name and, like, all of those movies and Miss Stevens, all those movies that had come out in, like, 2017 to 2019. And I remember seeing Little Women and being like, if at some point in my life I don't get to do the thing that I want to do, if my whole life is spent chasing it and I never get to do it, I'd still be okay because I was chasing that dream. But I would sooner be found dead before I gave up on the dream of movies. And Little Women was something for me where that was like, yes. I don't even know if that made sense. We didn't even really get to talk about the movie here, but do you want to do the monologue real quick together? I'm just going to do both parts. And if you hear that, that's my computer overheating because we have 2 tabs open. But it's worth the sacrifice for you guys. So I'm going to take it right from the... No, Teddy. Please don't. I will, and you must hear me. It's no use, Joe. We've got to have it out, and the sooner, the better for us. No, Teddy, please no. I've loved you ever since I've known you, Joe. I couldn't help it. You've been so good to me. I've tried to show it, but you wouldn't let me. Now I'm going to make you hear and give me an answer, for I can't go on so any longer. I never wanted to make you care for me so, and I went and... Okay, guys, I'm not doing a good job. It's not up to me. When everyone tells us what we can be, how could... Is this Rewrite the Stars? Okay, I'm on Scribd, and they just have Rewrite the Stars inserted in this. Okay, so that's all you're getting because they literally didn't have the monologue how I wanted. Anyway, I think Little Women's gonna have to be 1. Little Women 1, Theater Camp 2, Florida Project 3. And number 4 is going to be Kate's 4th and final film, Honora, 2024, directed by who? Sean Baker. So, truth be told, like, I watched Honora and I enjoyed Honora. I thought it was a very good movie. I think everything Sean Baker does is really great, and I love that he is an independent filmmaker, and I love that he's an independent filmmaker getting his flowers. However, I'll be honest with you, I really enjoyed it, but I didn't think it was the best movie I've ever seen in my whole entire life. A young sex worker from Brooklyn gets her chance at a Cinderella story when she meets and impulsively marries the son of an oligarch. Once the news reaches Russia, her fairy tale is threatened as the parents set out to get her marriage annulled. So, Mikey Madison is an incredibly talented actor. I just adore her. I loved her in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I thought she was so great. And I really enjoyed her in Honora. But I'm trying to think of what other films were up when it came to the Oscars, because I remember I was kind of like, I don't know. I think time has passed where I can talk about this. I really like the movie. I think it's beautifully shot. I think the story is really great and the subject matter is really great. And the idea of, like, the American dream, how you're kind of taught and bred from a young age that you can have anything you want in this life. Any job, you can have it. You want to live in a multi-million-dollar mansion and make a lot of money and have the perfect, you can do that. That's the American dream. And then you get to a certain point in between middle and high school when you have to start thinking about college, and people slowly start to rip the fabric, pull the curtain down and tell you, like, that's not the truth. You can do anything you want, but you should maybe consider going to college and studying this because it's more stable and it's more secure. And I think as time goes on, more people have realized, like, you don't have to go to college to be successful. You don't have to follow that traditional 9-to-5 rat race lifestyle that they push you towards in public American schooling. Like, you can do whatever you want. That doesn't mean that you're not going to be met with struggle. That doesn't mean that you're not going to be met with challenges, but if you want something in this life, you can have it. And I think what people forget in that conversation are things such as where you're born, the circumstances you're born into, what wealth class you're born into. It's very hard for people to escape the current situation that they are in, especially if you're born into poverty or things like that, where you don't have even the resources to go to college, get an education, get out of those places. So I really enjoyed the film following a young woman trying to make money through sex work. I thought this is a representation of what a lot of people, especially in America, resort to, not as like there's no other options for me, I'm gonna resort to sex work, but it's like, when you sexualize women and tell them that their value comes from their bodies, how can you then also weaponize them for using their body to make a living, right? So I really enjoyed the plot, the subject matter. I think Mikey Madison's character is incredible. I absolutely loved the plot in the movie. At the end, however, and maybe this is just a personal subjective thing here, but I felt like it was over before it started. I was like, wait. But I guess that kind of makes sense for how fast things happen, where she was like, my life is about to change, and then the instant that happens, it's taken away. So maybe it was just like my own personal thing where I was like, I just wish there was more of it. Like, I wish it was such a fast-paced, loud, like, kinetic movie that maybe there wasn't a moment to take a breath and sit with it. But I think that final scene where she's in the car, like, maybe that is it. Maybe I'm working out this issue right now with you, because I did like the movie. I really wanted the substance to win. That's just the truth for me. Like, I wanted a body horror about that kind of subject matter to win. And that doesn't mean that because a movie wins, it's better than all of the other movies. And that also doesn't mean because somebody wins, like, their performance was better than everybody else. Like, they just won the Oscar. Like, film as we know, art as we know, performance as we know is subjective. Because Adrian Brody won. Do you know why I say that? Because also I think Coleman Domingo should have won for Sing Sing. Like, it's subjective. So I think a lot of the time when these awards come out and they declare, like, the best actress of the year, the best movie of the year, like, maybe I need to not get so defensive because the movie's great and I can't really compare it to something else. Okay, so I guess that's my ranking. She wanted me to let you know that there is an honorable mention for her, which would be Bridesmaids. Kate loves Bridesmaids. It's so funny. Which just goes to show, like, Kate's humor for you. Like, one time I remember we were on a plane, and it was a very short plane ride. I think we were flying to Spain together, and we didn't want to listen to music or anything. I was like, can you just tell me the plot of Diary of a Wimpy Kid Dog Days in order? And she did. That's her. Like, she's so funny. Whatever. I could talk about her for 6 more hours, but my computer doesn't have the memory to edit through that footage, so I'll just give her a call later. So this is my official ranking of Kate's favorite movies, and we're just gonna include Bridesmaids at the bottom as an honorable mention because I could never rank that movie. It just stands on its own. A female-led, a woman-led comedy that's funny, and it's not like making fun of women for existing. Like, it's just women being funny. My favorite thing. I think number 1's gonna have to go Little Women. Number 2 and 3, like, I want you to know that it's literally so close. Theater Camp and The Florida Project. And Honora's gonna have to be number 4. I'm gonna have to rewatch Honora and come back to you guys with those thoughts because I feel like maybe I was just being bitter about wanting The Substance to win, which I can admit when I'm wrong. But that's not me saying, like, Honora isn't great. It's just the way people were talking about it, I was really, really expecting, like, something never been done before, something groundbreaking. And it was to an extent. So I guess I don't really know what I'm saying. But that's my ranking of Kate's movies. That's the ranking. And I'd like to know yours. So get those fingers moving and type it in the comments because I'm dying to know how you rank these 4 movies or if you've even seen them or if you have not seen them. I was really aggressive about Little Women and I'm sorry. It's just that movie gets me really excited. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe if you feel like it or don't. I mean, the numbers are nice, but, like, I'm gonna be here regardless. I'll be here again. So there's always next time to subscribe if you don't feel like doing it right now. Check out Dry Gin Martini, the website and the Substack. Follow my Instagram. Follow the TikTok. Like, TikTok is where I post the most just because it's convenient. And when I post on TikTok, then I'm not scrolling on TikTok because in my brain, I'm like, this is going to blow up and get 1 million likes, so I can't go on the app. I'm very superstitious. But you should just check out Dry Gin Martini across all platforms. Yeah, that's pretty much that on that. Till next time, stay flirty, stay thirsty, watch more movies together, make more movies together. Let's start the movement, guys. Say it with me. Watch more movies together, make more movies together. Oh my god, that's so fucking awesome. Like, could you imagine one day walking down the street and somebody just says that and I'd literally be like, what? I don't have, like, a name for, like, Dry Gin Martinis. It's just kind of like a movement. It's just kind of a movement named after a cocktail that I really enjoy. Also, when you're looking up Dry Gin Martini on these socials, look up Overconsumptionism by Kate. Incredibly funny. And now that Real Housewives of Salt Lake City is back, you guys are about to be fed from her. So, once again, till next time, stay flirty, stay thirsty. See you soon. And chin, motherfucking chin. It's not sin, it's chin. Just wanted to say that one time for anybody that was confused. Okay. Bye now.